Welcome. This is the inaugural podcast episode. I know it's supposed to be with my mom, but she's really busy. And we actually shot one, and she really didn't like it. And she made me reshoot it. And then she made me reshoot it. Then she made me reshoot it. And then she made me reshoot it. And I reshot it again. So it's probably never going to happen, but maybe one day. But I'm here joined with, my partner in crime, my brother from a white mother, Jackson Merrick.
It's good to be here. Appreciate it.
Yay.
Huh?
Jackson, for those of you who know him, will not be here for much longer, right?
No.
You are
Actually moving out to Oceanside, California, which is
Yeah.
close to San Diego. Cool opportunity came up. Me, my current roommate, and his brother moving out there for about 3 months. Yeah.
Okay.
So, free place to stay.
you wanna give us the address so we can rob you?
To be honest, I don't even know the address. I'm trying to buy a pair of Yeezys to ship them out there, and Matt's like, hey, wait until.
What, bro? See, don't get Yeezys. Are you gonna get Yeezys and take care of them, or are you gonna get Yeezys and just like wreck them?
I'm gonna get one. So the ones I want are the heels, which are like kind of those black soles, because black soles are easier to clean than ones with white soles. Because ones that get white, they start just a pain in the butt to
They
clean.
get yellowish.
Yeah,
and then
which
they get nasty.
you can't really do much about that. So like the black sole ones, those would be kind of more versatile. I'll get probably another pair where they're all whites, or if I can
man,
pick up some zebras or something
You
like
living
that.
different if you got Yeezy money, bro. I don't have Yeezy money. I got pay less money. I can't do that.
I mean, you're always good for shopping for deals, though. I mean, you probably have 60 pairs of shoes.
Dude,
Well, used to
funny
have.
enough,
Yeah.
I used to have 104 pairs of shoes. I sold 90 pairs of shoes.
Mhm.
I still have 14.
Okay.
Right?
That includes soccer.
Yeah, dude, I sold most of my soccer cleats. I only have 3 pairs of soccer cleats left.
Is there really that good of a market for secondhand shoes?
Yeah, dude, because I had some really like top of the line
Okay.
stuff when I used to work at Nike.
Yeah, you was the plug back in the day. Remember that?
All right. Well, anyway, I mean, no dancing around it. We're gonna get into our topic today, which for you is interesting because as I said, you are my brother from a white mother.
That is true.
You are a blended little baby, a
I
little
am.
Drakenite.
Yeah, kind of with an asterisk on that, too. Like, so I was adopted when I was a planned adoption, so at like 1 week old. And so my adopted parents, they're both white.
Mm-hmm.
And so being a multiracial, child in an all-white household and an all-white town, I think it's pretty, interesting in, the way I grew up and the way things kind of developed.
Yeah. When did you notice though that you weren't all white?
That's what I've been asked that pretty much my whole life, and I don't think there was any defining moment for that. I mean, I know you've had conversations, with me about, stuff your parents have told me, and
Yeah.
stuff has never ever come around to,
Yeah.
that at all.
Like how to interact with the police and stuff. Like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Because I was never told I was different, and so because I never grew up thinking I was different, it
Never crossed it.
never crossed my mind.
Never crossed your mind. I mean, lucky enough for you, you're very respectful, so I don't see any of those like situations with the police happening.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always wondered for you, what is a kind of like a shining moment where you're like, oh, things are a little different for me? Or did anyone ever say anything to you where you had to kind of, oh, I didn't know that I was different from anyone else? Or did you kind of just always, just float it out?
I mean, definitely when they saw photos, of my family. I mean, I will say it is kind of weird. I kind of look like my dad,
Mm-hmm.
which is super interesting. I mean, he's like part Spanish,
Mhm.
so he's got like dark features and tans very well. So like during the summers, I look like him, and then my
Okay.
sister has red hair, and so then you have that stark kind of contrast. You'd be like, all right, what is going on
Dude,
here?
my favorite thing is there's a family photo of you in your home. And it's you, and because your sister is also adopted,
Yep.
and she's also biracial,
Mhm.
and so it's a photo of Jackson's entire family. I think some of his extended family too, and it's all white folks. And then there's Jackson and Hayden, so the 2 biracial kids, and then there's also Jackson's mother and Jackson's sister, who are both redheads. And I think it was one of the first times I've ever gone to Jackson's house, and I'm looking at this photo, I'm like, 2 of these things are not like the other. And Jackson goes, yeah, I don't know what these redheads are doing here. And to this day, that's one of the funniest things I've ever heard you say. But yeah, it's so moving forward, right? Especially with the time that we're in now, do you feel any push or pull to be one or the other? Because I recently made a video and I said, theoretically you're just as white as you are African American, right? But if you were to go and proclaim that you are white, it would be blasphemy, right?
Yeah.
People would act funny. Why do you think that is? And do you ever wish you could say that you're white? Or are you okay with, always kind of leaning towards the black side?
I mean, definitely more comfortable leaning towards the black side. I mean, I'm proud of, that part of my, ethnicity for sure.
Yeah.
In terms of like, what was the other part? What was the first part of the question? Sorry.
It's like you are just as white as you are African American,
Mhm.
but if we were to call you white, or if you were to identify as white, people would look at you funny.
yeah.
Have you ever yearned to identify as white or call yourself white? Or
No, I mean nothing against white people by any means, but I'm proud of being biracial. And you look at me, I think people have called me everything from Indian, Puerto Rican,
oh yeah,
Brazilian.
I call you no fly list.
Yeah, so
So
I blend in anywhere, which is kind of cool. I enjoy that aspect.
until people start talking to you in different languages
Yeah.
and you have a dumb look on your face.
And they just look disappointed. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I think it's based on American culture and the
Yeah.
way things have progressed through history. Is if you're not white, you're a minority.
Not right.
Even
What?
though
Who said that?
yeah,
I didn't say that.
other people for sure. And
Yeah.
so I mean, technically, I think it's like a 60-40 split according to
Ancestry.com.
Ancestry.com. So yeah, I am a majority white in regards to as accurate as that test
Scientifically,
is.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But by no means to identify as just white.
Yeah.
I'm proud of being who I am and being able to soak in both cultures.
Okay. And in a neighborhood like where we're from, right here in Georgia, do you ever feel as though, or did you ever see a clear line between, how African Americans are allowed to do things they're supposed to act, or how white people are supposed to act? Did you ever see any clear lines of division, or were things a lot more blended for you?
I mean, I've lived in Johns Creek or Alpharetta whenever
Yeah.
it incorporated for my whole life. I would say was always a majority white.
Yes.
But as time has gone on, there's definitely been more racial integration.
Yeah.
Black, Indian, Asian,
Everything.
conversation. We just had about that
conversation
earlier.
was that. I think it's really funny because if someone were to ask me that question, right, is like, do I think there was really clear divisions in our neighborhood? I'd say no. I'd say that our neighborhood is actually pretty with it, at least in my opinion, with at least making me feel comfortable,
Mhm.
right? Like, I would never say I feel as safe as I do here in Johns Creek as I do in like Cumming. Like, I call Cumming KKK Cumming. Like, I do not.
Wasn't it the
It
last?
was the last. I think it was the
city?
last city to get rid of the KKK, and I think it's still there. But it's like I don't feel comfortable. Johns Creek. It's really funny. I was in the middle of Cumming,
Mhm.
and I got there by accident. I just got in my car and I was roaming around. I went through Milton, then I went to Canton, and then I got into Cumming. And the fear I felt in Cumming, and like I called my cousin who lives in like South Cumming, which is a lot better. He's like, "Hey man, you need to get out of there." And so I felt like I was like driving against the clock, and I had to break through the barrier, or else the cops are gonna come get me. And like, no one should feel that way, right? But that's how I feel in Cumming. I don't feel that way in Johns Creek, and
Yeah.
it's super nice.
I don't feel that way either. And kind of interesting point that you talk about. And definitely some areas, being in Georgia alone, and across the South, where you go and like, if I'm stopping on a trip and there's a gas station, I check and wait and see one person of color. It doesn't matter if they're Hispanic, Indian, whatever it is.
Yeah,
I wait to see
for
someone.
a person of color.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's Confederate flag country down there.
Oof, my favorite thing is when you're driving and you are running out of gas and you pass a perfectly good gas station, but you're in like a dicey part of town. You're like, I'll just hypermile it.
Yeah.
Like I'll just drop it down to 50, put it in cruise control, and let it go. Like, because there's no way I'm stopping here, right? Because I just don't feel comfortable. I just don't feel safe.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's interesting. And just to finish up that segment is, if there were anything you wanted to say to anyone in your position, right, who is half black, half white, who might be feeling any type of way about, how to identify, what would you tell them?
I would say don't suppress, either side. Be proud of, being both races or, whatever combination, and, soak in, both sides or, as many sides as possible.
Say one more time.
That's my So would you rather I say or
Neither.
All right, I'm going to start listening to you actually speak and see what your pause word is.
Please do.
All right, I will.
All right, thank you for that tidbit that I ruined, but thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Of course.